We have a software that helps streamlining and digitizing companies' expense management and business travel.
Rydoo is actually, we're trying to be a one-stop shop for companies with a lot of travelers, with people who have expenses, where they can easily book their travels, so hotel, flights, everything, and then automatically it flows through to the expense side.
We have currently 13 sales development reps. We are using mainly Zoom. We record the Zoom and we just basically saved it in one of our folders on the computer, and every now and then we uploaded them to the cloud. So for new hires, for people wanting to learn more and to review calls, we always had to go to Dropbox. Before using Refract, it was all quite manual. The reps had to basically record it, push it to their folder, and then push it again to Dropbox. There was no overview, basically, also not for us to check which calls were good and so on. Also for the new onboarders, the new hires, basically. Because of Refract now, it's for us way easier to basically check the call, grade the call, for them to teach for us to teach our SDRs basically how and where they can improve the calls, listen to others' calls, because you can do role plays basically, but it's so easy. You make the role play always your own. Whereas, for example, with a call, it's live. And then we stop the call every now and then and ask the other reps, what would you say now instead of what Benjamin said, for example? Isabella, what would you say instead? It's very convenient out for the reps. The only thing they have to do is basically press the record button. Everything will get pushed to Refract, and then they can basically listen to their call afterwards again. Mainly, for example, if they forgot to add notes or they want to make sure they understood correctly, but also for us to check the call, how did it go. We have these scorecards next to every call that we then grade, and based on those grades we can see how valuable and how good the call was. I have blocked, I think, 2 or 3 time slots in my agenda every week for an hour, I think, to go over some calls. And I ask everyone to pick a call that they would like to get reviewed, and then we go over that. It's always super different when doing role plays and when being in an actual call. For them it's very useful to listen after to the call and see how they did as well. Basically also if we score based on the scorecard, where they can still improve.
So it's very easy with Refract to send in calls for the training session, where we can then review these calls, specific pieces of the calls, for example, snippets. I had a few configuration calls with our customer success at Refract, and then from there on we just easily onboarded all of the SDRs. I quickly gave them an introduction. We had training sessions set up for our salespeople, and then on it went, so it was pretty easy.
So before it was all quite manual. They not always recorded the calls, whereas now we basically, it's all automatically, so they do the call, it gets pushed to Refract. Also for handover, not always, and especially for the new hires, it's not always super easy to ask questions during the call and write notes on what they heard back. So they can always re-look in the call, re-listen to the call, add proper notes, and do a proper handover to the account executives. Our conversion went up because of that, because before that calls were pushed, for example, to the account executives with not a lot of information, because the reps, they couldn't remember, for example. So that's one of the super valuable things of Refract.